The Miami Dolphins have reached a breaking point. A moment where patience is no longer a virtue but a burden. A moment where excuses, injuries, bad luck, bad calls no longer hold weight. This isn't about hoping things will fall into place. This is about making it happen. Because the time for waiting, for being close, for talking about potential, is over. The Dolphins have spent years building, tweaking, adjusting. They've had their flashes of brilliance, their statement wins, their glimpses of what could be. But almost isn't good enough anymore. This is the offseason that defines the next 5 years. Maybe longer. This is where we find out what Miami truly is. Are they a team with real championship aspirations, or are they just another group of talented players that can't quite put it all together when it matters most? Because let's be brutally honest, this franchise has been here before. We've seen talent. We've seen excitement. We've seen teams that looked like they were on the verge of something special. And then? Letdowns. Collapses. Promises unfulfilled. So, what's different now? What needs to happen to ensure this team doesn't just flirt with greatness, but finally, takes that next step? It starts with the trenches. It always does. The Dolphins can have all the speed in the world, all the offensive firepower they want, but none of it matters if they can't control the line of scrimmage. And that means one thing: this offensive line situation cannot, under any circumstances, be ignored for another offseason. They've tried patchwork fixes. They've tried development projects. They've tried hoping guys would just step up. Enough of that. Enough of rolling the dice and hoping it works out. The Dolphins have a quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa who, when protected, can dissect defenses like a surgeon. But when he's pressured, when he's getting hit, when he's forced into quick decisions behind a collapsing pocket, the offense sputters. The rhythm disappears. The whole operation breaks down. And it's not just about Tua. It's about balance. A team that can run the football in December, in the playoffs, in cold weather, and tough environments, is a team that wins. The Dolphins have speed at running back. They have a creative play caller in Mike McDaniel. What they don't have is a consistently dominant unit up front that allows them to impose their will. That has to change. One name that's been floated as a potential addition is Ben Cleveland. And if that name doesn't excite you, I get it. He's not a big-ticket signing. He's not a Pro Bowler. But that's not what Miami is looking for. They're looking for value. They're looking for toughness. They're looking for guys who can come in and give this offensive line the kind of attitude it's been missing for years. Cleveland is a massive human being, a 6'6", 360-pound road grader who, if given the right opportunity, could be exactly what this team needs. But he's not enough. One addition isn't fixing this. Miami needs depth. They need competition. They need to walk into training camp knowing they have multiple players fighting for spots, knowing they have options, knowing they won't have to rely on prayers and wishful thinking when the season starts. And speaking of needs, this defense. When healthy, this defense is dangerous. It has playmakers at all 3 levels. It has the ability to dominate. But here's the problem: when healthy is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence. Because time and time again, this defense has been decimated by injuries. Time and time again, depth has been exposed. That can't happen again. Not if this team is serious about making a run. The secondary is a question mark. With Xavier Howard's future uncertain and Jalen Ramsey coming off a season where he missed significant time, there is no room to assume everything will just work itself out. Miami needs reinforcements in the defensive backfield. Players who can step in and contribute immediately, who can handle the rigors of a 17-game season without falling apart. And then there's the pass rush. The Dolphins have talent, but in this league, you can never have too many guys who can get after the quarterback. Never. Look at the teams that win in January. Look at how they disrupt opposing offenses. That's what Miami needs to emulate. All of this comes back to one simple truth: there are no shortcuts. No easy fixes. No one player who will magically solve everything. This is about building a complete team. A team that doesn't just look good on paper, but shows up when it counts. That's why Chris Grier is under the microscope. Because let's be real, he's had his hits, but he's had his misses too. He's built a talented roster, but talent alone doesn't win championships. He has to nail this offseason. He has to make sure this team isn't just good, but great.